Hello and welcome to Brain Boolean. In this video, we will explore 15 JavaScript techniques that can help you write better code. Let's get started. The following one-liner will reverse a string in JavaScript. This code first splits the string into an array of characters, then reverses the order of the characters and finally joins them back together into a string. To find the sum of an array in JavaScript, you can use the reduce method. The reduce method iterates over each element in the array and reduces it to a single value, which in this case is the sum of all the elements. The first argument of the reduce method is the callback function that takes two parameters, total and number. The total parameter is the running total of the array and number is the current element being processed. The second argument of the reduce method is the initial value of the total parameter. In this case, it's set to 0. To find the largest and smallest number in an array using JavaScript, you can use the following one-liner. This code uses the spread operator to pass each value in the array as an argument to the math.max and math.min methods. These methods in turn return the largest and the smallest numbers in the array respectively. To remove duplicate values from an array in JavaScript, you can utilize the set object and the spread operator. By creating a new set object and passing the array as its parameter, you can ensure that only unique values are kept. Then using the spread operator, you can convert the set back into an array. The object.entries method is used to return an array of an object's key value pairs. You can use this method to loop through an object's properties and perform operations on them. In this code, we have an object person with three properties, name, age and city. We use the object.entries method to create an array of the key value pairs of the person object. Then we use a for-of loop to iterate over the array and destructure each key value pair into variables key and value. Finally, we log the key and value to the console using a template literal. The clipboard API provides a simple and efficient way to copy text to the clipboard in JavaScript. Inside the function, the navigator.clipboard.writeText method is called with the text argument to write the content to the clipboard. To check the user's online or offline status in a web application using JavaScript, you can use the navigator.online property. This property returns a Boolean value indicating whether the browser is currently online or offline. In JavaScript, you can remove falsy values from an array using the filter method. Falsy values includes false, 0, empty string, null, undefined, and not a number. In this code, Boolean is passed as the callback function to filter. The Boolean function is a built-in function in JavaScript that returns true for truthy values and false for falsy values. By passing Boolean as the callback function, filter will remove all falsy values from the array and return a new array, filtered array with only truthy values. To flatten a multidimensional array in JavaScript, you can use the flat method. The flat method creates a new array with all the sub-array elements concatenated into it recursively up to the specified depth. In this code, multidimensional array is a two-dimensional array with two nested arrays. By calling the flat method with a depth of 2, all sub-array elements are concatenated into a single flat array. The resulting flattened array contains all the elements of the original multidimensional array in a single dimension. In HTML, data attributes provide a way to store additional data in an element. To access these data attributes in JavaScript, you can use the dataset property of the element. For example, consider the following HTML element. To access the data name and data age attributes of the div element using the dataset property, you can use the following JavaScript code. In this code, myDiv.dataset returns an object that contains the value of all the custom data attributes on the div element. We can access a specific data attribute by using its name as a property of the dataset object. Array.from is a built-in method in JavaScript that creates a new array from an iterable object or an array-like object. This method can be used to convert various data structures such as strings, sets, and maps into an array. Destructuring assignment is a way to extract values from array or objects and assign them to variables in a more concise and readable way. For example, consider the following array. Instead of accessing each element using index notation, we can use destructuring assignment to extract specific values. In this code, we use square brackets to create a pattern that matches the shape of the array. The commas in the pattern allows us to skip over elements that we are not interested in. We can then assign the extracted values to new variables, for example, first, second, and fourth in a single line. We can also use destructuring assignments with objects. In this code, we use curly braces to create a pattern that matches the shape of the object. The variable names, for example, name, age and email, match the property names in the object. So the corresponding values are extracted and assigned to the variables. Promise.all allows multiple promises to be executed in parallel. It takes an array of promises as input that returns a new promise that resolves when all the input promises have resolved. In this code, we create two promises using the fetch method to fetch data from two different endpoints. We then pass an array of promises to promise.all, which returns a new promise that resolves when all of the promises in the array have resolved. We can then use the responses array in the then block to handle responses from both requests. If either promise rejects, the catch block will handle the error. To detect a right-click event in JavaScript, you can listen for the context menu event, which is fired when the user right-click on an element. Here is an example code snippet that logs a message to the console when the user right-clicks on a document. In this code, we use the add event listener method to add context menu event listener on the document object. When the event is fired, the callback function is executed, and we prevent default context menu from showing up by calling the prevent default method on the event object. Finally, we log a message to the console to indicate that a right-click event has been detected. A cool use case for detecting right-click event in JavaScript could be to create a custom context menu. For example, you could disable the browser's default context menu and instead create your own menu that appears when the user right-clicks on a specific element or area of your website. That's it for this video. If you liked it, please like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.